This week on the long-term tackle review, we're going to be taking a look at the differences between monofilament and copolymer mainlines and having an in-depth review of the Thinking Angular's OGX Mainline. So first things first, let's take a little look at the differences between a monofilament and a copolymer mainline. Now at first glance they might look very similar, but there are a few subtle differences that make one stand out above the other. And a mono, meaning one, is usually a single nylon material that is stretched out to give you the line. And a copolymer is several different nylons usually blended together to give you different properties from each material to give you one copolymer mainline to get the best of both materials. So copolymers are generally a little more expensive. They're a bit more to produce, generally slightly better base materials than a mono. So let's have a look at this one from Thinking Anglers, which is the OGX. Now I've been using this quite a lot recently in both £12 and £15, and I've been really impressed with it so far. Now its main advantages over a standard mono is that it has really low stretch, which helps you feel the lead down, gives you really good bite indication. It's also coated with a material, a substance that helps the line sink really well, and I have noticed this, it does peel off line really nicely. You can keep peeling off a bit of line and it sinks really well. I mean, it's never going to sink as well as say a fluorocarbon, but for its diameter and for a mono it sinks really nicely. Now the next thing to talk about is its abrasion resistance and breaking strain. Now I've been doing a little bit of a research into this, and I was looking at the charts, for those of you that have not seen them before, by the Tackle Box. So the shop and website, the Tackle Box, they do extensive testing on lines, and they have charts on their website where they have independently tested all the breaking strains and knot strengths of different lines. So I've gone through the chart and I've picked a few out just to show where this one is at. Now this is the £12 version that I have in my hand here, so we'll look at that. Now when you're buying a line, whether it be mainline, monofilament, fluorocarbon, copolymer, braid, anything like that, you should never really buy it on the breaking strain. You should always buy on the diameter of the line, because that will give you a true representation of what you're actually buying. But even down to that, there are vast variances on what your line will break at. So for example, a really popular copolymer line is the Gardner GTHD. I've got these written down here at 0.33, which is the same as this, which they rate at £12. Actually breaks at £15.29 on the Tackle Box tests. Fox Exocet Pro, which is another really popular mainline, at 0.33, breaks at £15.6. The old line that I used to use a lot was the Synchro XT, and that breaks at £15.75. But this, the Thinking Anglers OGX at £12, which is 0.33 as well, breaks at 16.4. So it's nearly an extra pound of breaking strain for the same diameter, which just goes to show that this blend of materials that goes into this copolymer is really robust and has great knot strength. So it's quite interesting to look at those charts. If you've got a main line, they've got loads of all the main popular main lines on there. So check out your line and see how it compares to other ones, and see if you're actually getting what you think you're paying for, because a lot of the time the breaking strains are underrated, sometimes they're overrated, so you've got to be really careful when you're buying a mainline. So this comes in a really nice kind of like steely grey, slightly greeny tint colour to the mainline, and as I say, I've used it in the 12 and 15. The £12 casts really well. It's got this slightly, I don't know, it's like a really slick finish to it. I don't know if it's the coating they put on it, and it seems to absolutely fly off the rings. If you're really hammering it out there using the £12, you will need a leader, because I gave it a good chuck several times and I did have one crack off when I was really giving it the beans. in the 12 pound, whereas the 15 pound is absolutely rock solid. So really good go-to line, casts really nicely. I've had that line up to about 115 yards, 120 yards, that kind of range, straight through at 15 pounds. They also do an 18 pound and a 20 pound if you're doing shorter work where you in really snaggy situations where you want a really strong bulletproof line. I've not used it in that thickness because I haven't needed to in any more situations yet. But the breaking strength on that is ridiculous on their charts. So yeah, it's a really good option to look into. Copolymers, generally a step above your standard monos, so definitely worth a look at. Let me know in the comments down below what mainlines you like to use. Have you tried this new one from Thinking Anglers just yet? Let me know what you think of it if you have. Make sure you click like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any other videos, and I'll catch you in the next one.